Have you ever had a meaningful experience with art in your life?
So the one thing that came to mind, because I really only thought of, well, I can think of two. Okay, one, for starters, was, and it's labor related, of course. I'm from Unifor, which used to be Canadian Auto Workers Union, and the president of our union, Canadian Auto Workers Union, the first president was Bob White, who was like a incredible labor leader that everyone looked up to, and he went on to become president of the Canadian Labour Congress, and he's just phenomenal. He's retired now, and he's a hero in the labour movement in Canada. Anyway, so when he retired, they wanted to do something really special for him for a retirement gift, and this is what they did. They took plates, steel plates or some kind of plate, steel, and they sent it down the line at Ford, down the assembly line, and they asked workers to take whatever tools they were using on the job, their screwdrivers or their wrenches or whatever, and make their mark on this steel plate. And then they printed prints from the steel plates, colored prints, and they were all unique, right? Every one was different. And they gave them out to people that went to his retirement, and I have it hanging on my wall, and it just means so much to me. Like, it's not even, one of your questions was what makes it pretty or what makes it ugly. It's ugly, it's actually ugly, but the meaning behind it is what makes it beautiful, and it has a meaningful effect on me. Another question that you asked was what makes art beautiful, or what kind of art do you like, or something like that. And I think I don't know if it's called protest art, but art that has a meaning to it. This is one of the most meaningful pieces of sculpture. Is our union has a centre in Port Elgin, Ontario, on Lake Huron. It's we call it our Family Education Centre. It's where we train all of our union reps, and they are welcome to bring their families with them some of the times. Up there we have a sort of a pond at the front of the building with fish in it and whatnot. And they commissioned an artist to do this sculpture at one point, and it's to commemorate the 14 women that were killed at the Montreal Massacre in 1989, when they were gunned down by Marc Lépine because they were women. Yeah. And so this sculpture is a bronze statue of a woman, and she just looks like any average, actually I think she's wearing a hoodie, and she's got a backpack on like we used to carry up there. We used to have CAW backpacks everybody carried. She has a backpack on, and she's standing looking out at the water, and the other side of the water is a eternal flame, and it's supposed to be lit until violence against women is eradicated in our country, and then the flame can go out. Very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah.
Like my wife and I went to go see The Miracle Worker at the Avon Theatre about 5-6 years ago. Play in the theatre there at the Avon Theatre. I swear there wasn't a dry eye in the house, because it was so well done, so emotional, and so perfectly done that the emotions just well up in it, right? Called Titus Andronicus, and it was a Shakespearean play. I had no idea what it was about, so I Googled it just to get a little bit of the storyline, and wow, what an awesome play. Like, it was so well done, and the costume and the stage production and the way they told the story and the way they moved through it, it was just so riveting, and it was so interesting, and it was by Shakespeare, and I was like, really? That was a cool story, but the way they did it, the art that went into the costumes and the visual effects and stuff, it was awesome. I was like, wow, that was really good. I still talk about it right now. In the 80s, I liked new wave synth pop, punk kind of music, and half the time you didn't know what the name of the band was or what it was, but I just look at the album covers and go, wow, look at that. I remember buying Yaz upstairs at Eric's. It's a picture of a dining room with two mannequins with the bodies kind of floating in midair, and the legs are down below the table, and a light hanging above it. And it's just like that image upstairs, and the name of the title. The title is Upstairs at Eric's. And it's like, wow, what a cool picture. Another record I bought, The Chameleon. And it's kind of like almost like a Picasso, Salvador Dali sort of cover. Really weird looking. It's called The Script of a Bridge, to a Bridge. And I thought, in the back it says this album was engineered to be played loud. So I thought, wow, look at that cool cover, and it's telling me to play it loud. So I thought, I'm going to buy it. And that is one rock record. But the only reason I bought that record was because of the cover.
Like, I like what I like, and the rest I guess I don't really pay attention. Like, I guess, and I'm thinking even photography. Like, I think you have to have an eye. Like, it's really interesting how I can look at one thing and you can look at the same thing and we can both see something completely different. I love to read, but I don't know that fiction is actually art. Like, I have one series and everybody laughs at me, but it's like I reread them over and over and over again. But it's like you're visiting with somebody.
Yeah.
So I do. I have one series that I just keep rereading. Every night before I go to bed, I have to read the one series. I have no idea why, but it's just, that's what I do. I've seen a lot on Facebook, actually. I remember one about, I think it was a woman who just sat in the middle of this group, and she just sat on a chair, and people would come up and they would just sit in front of her and they would just stare at each other and nobody would say a word. That was very interesting.
That was Marina Abramovich.
Yes, like, that was very interesting, actually. But I think because social media, let's face it, there's a lot more, you're subjected to a lot more than, say, you were when I was growing up.
Yeah, would you say the social media has changed the way that you can engage with art? Yeah,
absolutely. You might see it on there, but you find it interesting. Now you have the means to go and look it up.
Yeah,
to search it out, to learn about it. And I guess it's like things like that I like. Well, I love it. I did this series of pictures of bridges, like standing at one end looking down. And I just love them. And I don't know what it is. It's just a bridge.